I first started thinking about free-soloing El Cap in probably 2008, 2009, and then the first several years it was just this abstract dream, and each time I looked at the wall, it would fill me with fear. And then I had a couple of distinct experiences on El Cap where I was like, oh, I could actually imagine being up here ropeless. I had to sort of accept the dream, or sort of like embrace the vision of it before I could get into the nitty-gritty.
Can we turn my mic up a touch? With everybody yelling, it's now too quiet. Or my, I mean my headphones.
You're passing away through the skies. You left your latest message blank.
EP poured the first handhold in 1985. Here we are 30 years later. Chances are if you climbed inside, you've climbed on an EP hold.
welcome to the final event of the 2018 USA Climbing Collegiate Bouldering National Competition. Earlier today at Momentum Katy, Texas location, we saw the qualifying finalists of 94 collegiate teams from across the United States compete in both sport and speed disciplines. And now we are on to this final discipline from this whirlwind weekend. The bouldering finals tonight will take place here at Momentum Silver Street location in downtown Houston, Texas, and we are already 2 minutes into this climbing competition. Up on the wall right now we have Chloe Betts over there on the blue climb, and on the left we have Ryan Rutledge from Texas A&M. These climbers are already off to a good start. We are 2 minutes into the climbing competition. They've given it a couple tries here. The format this evening is going to be 3 boulders per gender. We've got 25 climbers per gender competing this evening, so it's going to be a trek, but an awesome trek. One to be remembered. I hope you guys got to join us earlier this afternoon for the sport and speed climbing competition, but if you did not, it was fantastic. This is one of the few climbing competitions that you can watch throughout the season where these climbers have the opportunity to compete in all 3 disciplines of climbing during one event. They all had the opportunity to compete in both, or in sport, speed, and bouldering. Many of the competitors made it into multiple disciplines. We had 6 women and 8 men competing throughout multiple disciplines, and a lot of them in the finals this evening, which means they've already done sport climbing and speed climbing today. This is a format that we're looking towards the 2020 Olympics for, where climbers need to be all-around competitors in order to compete at the 2020 Olympics. They need to be good at bouldering, sport, and speed, so this is a fantastic test to see how these competitors are going to fare when faced with all 3 disciplines. So far we have seen Chloe Betts on the right there able to secure that 10-point hold. Chloe is from the University of Utah. We are running a 4-minute on, 4-minute off, no transition time, no added time if you're on the wall sort of format here, and so Chloe was on the wall looking comfortable, but when that time runs out, she's got to come down. Getting on this female climb, we have Karen Gilbert from Colorado State University. And the gentleman on the left there is Duncan Muir from Northeastern. So far in the men's climb, Ryan Rutledge was unable to get to the 10-point zone. So we'll see how Duncan Muir here is going to do. If you guys do have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter. The handle is @USA Climbing. We'll do our best throughout the evening to field any questions or comments that you've got there. Also, if you're watching at home, feel free to tag hashtag USAC Collegiate or hashtag Collegiate Nationals. Let us know how you're watching this competition. Chloe Betts unable to hold that barn door there, going from the 10 up to the dimpled flat hold. So Duncan Muir's the first one to be able to secure that 10-zone point hold. While those volumes are textured, they're definitely still hard to hold on to.
Let's help her out, CSU. Come on, Karen.
Sorry, this is Karen Gilbert from Colorado State University. That's my fault there. Bib number 61. For those of you at home who are unaware, the scoring system for USA Climbing's bouldering competitions this season has changed a little bit. The end of this last season and this season for Collegiate. The way it works, as you can see, is there are 4 zones: 5 points, 10 points, 15, and 25. And as we can see, Karen Gilbert gaining that 15 zone there. Gaining the 25 top with just 4 seconds left to go. Though she did reach 25, she had a couple of attempts, which means that every attempt she had, they're going to knock down 0.01 points off of her score, which will allow for separation as we move through this climbing competition. If they are able to do the problem on their first try or flash it, they will gain all 25 points. That's the ideal score for these competitors. We now have 4 climbers out on the field. Coming up on men's one, new climber out. It's going to be Avery Aberratine from Clemson University and Carlin Reynolds from Northeastern University on the women's. On women's 2, we have Chloe Betts on her second boulder problem. And on men's 2, we've got Ryan Rutledge from Texas A&M. Looks like Ryan's making good headway up this. The angle of that wall pitches back a little bit, so these moves are definitely going to be tough for him. Avery Aberratine from Clemson University is able to get that 10-point zone there.
Carla being patient, working it out.
Just under 2 minutes left on the clock.
I know you got this in you. Let's see it. Where you at, Texas A&M? Come on, Carla, work it out. You got this, Chloe. Come on.
These competitors are the beginning of the top 25 finalists out of 525 competitors from this weekend. That's right, out of 94 teams, we had 525 competitors from across the United States competing. They were able to compete in all 3 of these disciplines. Many of them, as we'll see later on, made it to 2, if not 3 of these competitions, which means they've been climbing all day. These climbers do have to be off the wall after 4 minutes, which means that as the clock starts winding down and they may or may not have one more attempt in them, they need to look ahead and realize that they've got 1 or 2 more boulder problems ahead and how much energy they want to save for that next boulder. Whereas if they jump on and burn a bunch of energy, they may start running out of energy as they get to their next boulder problems, and it could cost them.
Come on, Ryan.
See if Ryan Rutledge can make this cross happen. He's got 19 seconds. We've seen him here on this 10 zone before. Just not enough juice. Coming out next for the ladies is going to be Madison Crowley on female 1. And then on men's 1 coming out, we're going to see Benjamin Roa. Benjamin Roa competed earlier on today. He was competing in the sport climbing competition as well as speed.
University of Utah, Benjamin Roa.
Benjamin's out of the University of Utah climbing team. And Madison Crowley is from Whitman College. Karen Gilbert sticking that first move, first go. Karen Gilbert's looking really strong on this move. This is the highest we've seen any competitor, and she's eyeballing that 15 zone hold. What's fun about this climbing competition is that these climbing competitors, while they're climbing for themselves, they're also climbing for their team. Many of them move to these schools from their hometown. And this climbing team oftentimes is the new family that they've signed up for. It's their new community. And you can hear the crowd go wild as these climbers approach the top of the wall. That was Ben Roa getting really close to topping out men's number 1. Ben's got a minute 15 left and he knows it. Checking the clock.
Come on, Karen. That first go took a lot out of her. She was on the wall a long time. Come on, Ben. Plenty of time. Nice, Ben. Strong.
Just doesn't have it in him for that one. We've got 37 seconds left. And over on women's 1 right now, we are watching Madison Crowley doing her best.
These problems are hard, you guys.
As we get 6 climbers on the wall for these 3 climbs, we're going to do our absolute best to keep you guys in the loop as to what's happening sports action-wise. And right now, stepping in the booth, we have route setter Jeremy Ho out here from beautiful Northern California, getting ready to tell you guys all about the setting process here. Jeremy, how was setting for this bouldering final?
Yeah, man, it was a little bit of a time crunch, but we pulled together. We had an amazing crew, a lot of experience, and everybody did their job and executed, man. It was good. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, a difficult round with the ability range being really broad with this category. but I think the crew did a good job.
Yeah, talk to me about setting for such a broad range. I mean, especially, with the sport climbing that we saw earlier today, you've got a lot more space to kind of, let the climbers get up on the wall, kind of eke out some of the climbers who made it into finals but aren't, the top of their level, because we've got 25 climbers here.
Sure.
But in these bouldering finals, you don't want to shut everybody down in the beginning, but you do need to separate 25 competitors as best you can.
Yeah, exactly. I think you hit the nail on the head there. As a result of the ability ranges, I think everything had to be really progressive. We wanted to make sure that 25th through 15th was getting points. They're getting up. They're making moves. So the boulders in general, and as with the routes for earlier today, everything was super progressive. If you saw the sport finals, the lower end of the routes were pretty appropriate for the lower end of the field. We had to do our homework and see who was coming and figure it all out. An event like this is really tough because you just don't know who's coming. I mean, we do know, but we don't know all of their ability ranges. And we set everything from for the sport qualifiers, everything from 5'8" to 5'13". It's a pretty wide range. Yeah.
Did you have anybody kind of come out of the woodwork and surprise you that maybe you didn't know or you didn't expect to do as well as they did?
There weren't too many big surprises, I don't think. A lot of the competitors in the collegiate field now are ex-youth competitors. For those of us that have been doing this for a while, we've seen a lot of these guys and girls in the youth circuit, and so we have a little bit of an understanding of their ability range. There wasn't too many standouts. And I think the guys that set the finals routes did a phenomenal job of getting people off the ground, getting them up. We saw a pretty awesome sports action on the men's final, and with the women's as well. We had some ties going into it, and everything got broken up, and it was awesome. We saw some tops, we saw some close tops on the women's, but it was overall pretty good.
What are you thinking about this format of having these competitors, potentially compete in all three events? We've got a lot of competitors make it in bouldering, sport, and speed. How do you think that plays out for them throughout the day?
I think it's awesome, first and foremost. I think that it is really interesting that the kids they're grown adults at this point. I think it's really interesting that they have to introduce strategy. It's not just, okay, it's bouldering finals, we're going to do this as bouldering season, I've been training boulders for 6 months or whatever it is. They have to have strategy. I heard a lot of the competitors during qualifying kind of talking with their coaches and saying, should I boulder first? Should I sport climb first? And I think a lot of people opted to sport climb first. It's pretty easy to regain your power in a short amount of time, but your endurance can just, get zapped. So, yeah, it's cool. It's a cool format. It's different. Yeah, it's a lot of climbing for kids in a short period of time, and for us as forerunning, it's the same thing. We were talking about it. The mileage that we have to climb and forerun and deal with is far greater than any other event I've done. It's cool. I like it.
Well, you guys did a fantastic job. Tell me what were you guys trying to accomplish in under 3 boulders? Because obviously, separating the field is very important, but you've got 3 boulders to try and challenge these climbers, which is shorter than having 4 or 5, as some competitions do.
Sure.
So with 3 boulders and especially such a diverse field, did you guys strategize about that at all?
Yeah, again, boulders 1 and 2 are super progressive. Again, having the field being such a wide range of ability range. The guys coming into first place, I believe Palmer's in first. I forget who's in second right now, but Danny Popowski's in third. It's Kyle Struthers,
Yeah.
Ex-youth competitors, Palmer Larson is a beast.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely a challenge. And the boulders 1 and 2 are super progressive, and we also want to have a show at the end of it. So, I definitely think that boulders 3 are going to see a little bit less tops, and maybe less people even really getting points, but hopefully those top 4 or 5 kids are going to be putting on the show and really getting people hyped.
Yeah, and as we saw, Jess Walker from Colorado State University just got the top on men's 1.
That was the first top.
As far as I've seen, we've been chatting away here, but I don't think anybody's topped, and the reaction from the crowd definitely told me that they were psyched to see somebody top that one out. So
yeah, man, that's one of the really cool things I think about the collegiate series in general is is the community. These kids are just cheering people on. Solomon Barth, for example, kid climbs, V14, 514, and he's screaming his lungs out for his teammates that are struggling up the 510s, the 511s. It's super cool. I mean, this, it's a community. They're hanging out, they're cheering each other on, and this is as loud of a crowd as you would hear at open sport, open bouldering. It's really rad to see the community and the kids come together and just lend support. It's awesome.
I think that's something that draws people to the climbing community anyway, but I definitely feel that in the collegiate realm, the psych is just so high for these guys. A lot of them are ex-youth athletes, and they've been friends for a long time, but then the newcomers who are coming along maybe aren't as strong or as experienced. They bring that extra psych of the newcomer, and it's also backed up. I mean,
and they're welcome with open arms.
Yeah.
So cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. So where do you see the collegiate field and contingent going throughout the years? Because we were talking, me and Cody, during the sport climbing finals about how much it's grown even in just 2 years or 3 years. And obviously this year is even bigger than we expected. We had 525 competitors in finals, 94 teams. That was unheard of 3 years ago.
Right. And look at the venue. Look at the fact we're live streaming it. It's growing. It's awesome. I think that the community plays a large part of it. In the next couple of years, we've talked about this all week. The next couple of years, we've got kids like Drew Ruana. Even Drew to kids like Connor Herson. They could be in college together at the same time, and this field could be just as strong as an open comp. Should be interesting.
And an interesting part of this is, you don't have to be a specific age range to compete in this. You have to be going to college.
Yeah.
Literally, we could have 35-year-old competitors going up against 18-year-old competitors.
Absolutely.
Provided that you're just
16-year-old competitors, for that matter.
Yeah, seriously. So it's a really interesting field to be competing in. It's similar to open, but it's got a lot more competitions. It's got a lot more time to suss out the competitors. And then you get this really interesting format of having all three disciplines in one weekend.
Yeah, it's a lot. And not only that, but they're juggling school at the same time. I mean, these are college students, I talked to one parent that I know personally, and she was telling me that her son was finishing up a physics project before he had to do his qualifying round yesterday.
Yeah.
He was like, oh my gosh, my project's due at 5 o'clock, and he was just in his hotel room typing away on the computer trying to get that done.
Well, and what's really cool too is I was talking to some youth competitors who went into university this year, and they were talking about some of them have potential for scholarships going into some of these schools, the schools that are really getting behind the climbing teams, and they're really promoting it, and they're paying for their memberships and their travel to all of these competitions, and there's scholarship potential, and a lot of these schools are seeing potential in the climbing industry and in these kids. And also when it comes down to scholarships and being on the team, a lot of times you have to maintain a GPA, so it's actually good for them to be a part of this climbing team. It's getting them out, it's giving them these opportunities, and it's forcing them to keep their grades up and pay attention.
Yeah, I actually was not aware that scholarship program was going on, and I think it's awesome. With our sport going to the Olympics, it makes sense. We should, just like football, baseball, soccer, any of the other mainstream sports, it's growing, and I think, like you said, there's 94 teams and 525 competitors here tonight, or this weekend. That's phenomenal, man. It's not like we're going to slow down anytime soon, and I hope that the schools do continue to lend support and help these kids out, and hopefully our community can grow, and we can help get these kids to the Olympics, to get to the World Cups, like all the other things that we've always kind of lacked in our sport. And I think we're heading in that direction, and it's really exciting to see where it heads in the next few years.
Yeah,
especially when we have kids like Ross Fulkerson, and these kids are going to be in college in the next year or two. The level of competition is going to go through the roof. It's going to be really cool.
Absolutely. And shouts out to USA Climbing. In the last 5 years or so, they've really put forth a lot of effort of trying to do their best to support athletes here in the U.S., internationally, and doing what they can for these climbers. All of these climbers are vying for a position to potentially go to Worlds in Slovakia. The top 5 from each gender, from each discipline, have an opportunity to go to Slovakia and compete in the University World Cup.
Yeah, and I think I heard that the first place gets all expenses covered by USA Climbing, which is phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, that's you know, USA Climbing is a nonprofit. It relies on the community. It relies on volunteers. You know, it's always tough. We're always wrangling up anywhere from 50 to 100 people to try to run these events that are not being paid. They're just doing it because they love our sport. They're either parents, they're friends, they're, you know, gym employees, people that are just climbers in the community, and it's really cool. You know, it's great that USA Climbing has been able to really pull through and show the competitors and our sport some love and help support the kids to move on. It's really
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah. Excellent. So how do you think the round's going so far?
So far, it's going well, man. You know, it's always hard to know exactly how things are going to go. We ultimately are always just making educated guesses, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's looking really good. We're seeing some moves. We're seeing a lot of, not a lot, but we're seeing tops, and yeah, it's going kind of how we thought it would. There's always chances for surprises. You know, we're at
around 20, the 20th climber plus or minus, or no, even a little bit higher than that, about 18th or so. I believe Dom Speranza was on men's one just now, and he was qualified in 18th place.
Yep. And Sam Enright, I think, just finished. Dom's coming up on one, and Sam just finished one. So yeah, we're cooking through, and we're seeing tops, and we're seeing moves being made, seeing points. You know, we had perfect separation going into the bouldering finals, and you know, which makes it nice for us to always be able to just put on a show. Let people get excited, get behind their teams, and let the community just shine and really cheer everybody on and get them up the walls.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We got Gracie getting on number one here.
Yep, Grace McCain on number one. She has competed in all three events today, in fact. Earlier we saw Grace in the sport climbing competition, and she ended up
third overall.
Yeah, third overall.
And now she's competing in bouldering, and Grace is one of those girls that has all of the skills. You know, she has stood on the podium of youth sport and youth bouldering. I believe was she on the podium for adult bouldering a couple years ago?
It wouldn't surprise me off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, it would not surprise me. She's a very competent climber.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you know, some of these youth climbers, they go out and they go do an open competition, and all of a sudden just like blow all the experience, you know, geezers out of the water. And by geezers, I mean those climbers at like 22, 25, you know.
Those of us in our 30s are struggling to keep up.
All right, so here on women's two, we have Anna Laura Lacan, Grace McKeon on women's one.
Almost a top on men's two.
Dom Speranza was able to touch the finish hold of men's one, though he fell off trying to hold the finish. So,
yeah, man, that's a slippery one. Really volume centric. Not a lot. I mean, good texture, but it's warm in here. They're probably under a bit of stress. Kind of not the most straightforward boulder problem.
Yeah, and
kind of wrapping volumes and getting the hand position correct to be able to make upward progress. And they got 4 minutes. It's tight. The time's tight.
There we get a glimpse of Dom. He reached up towards the finish hold, trying to gain that 25 earlier, was able to latch it, but unfortunately he couldn't control or match it. He's got 1:14 left to try and get this one done. I watched you guys forerunning it just before you opened up, and you were really playing with that number 15 zone. Can you tell me about what you guys were trying to do?
Yeah, we wanted to introduce risk in this boulder. Being boulder problem number one, we wanted to get people up into the boulder problem, get some points. So that first volume being 5 points. You can barely see it around the corner right now because of the angle, but they get the points for the second volume, and then there's that jump move down to the bully jug. Yeah, the name of the game on this one was slow movement, body tension, a little hop move, and then holding it together on navigating the, we got Gracie topping number 1. Sure. Here we got Dom going for the jib. Yep. Can't see if there's a jib on the point. Oh, there we go.
Benjamin Roja just falling off that.
Little paddle dyno thing. Kind of the classic good hold and paddling through to a jug.
All right, so stepping out right now, we got Dan Yu from Stanford over on men's 1, and then on the ladies' side, female 1 here, we've got Brenda Suresh.
Brenda's was a local, well, is still, she's Stanford. She's a local girl from the Bay Area where I'm from, so seen her competing in youth a lot. Women's 2. Got a pretty sports action, exciting move here. See what she does. Yeah. There we go. Oh!
That was Allison Kahn on ladies 2.
Here we go, Dan Yu getting started on men's 1. Oh!
That first move doesn't look too easy either on men's 1.
Yeah. Beta's the name of the game on men's 1. Put it that way. Shouldn't be too difficult if you execute the body positions correctly.
All right, over here on ladies 2.
Allison Kahn.
Allison Kahn not able to get that cross move over to the 15-point. On this one, we've got Laurel Melton over on the 3rd climb there. This first one has been giving the ladies a little bit of trouble. It's pretty bouncy. Brenda here on women's 1 trying to gain that 15. A lot of ladies have trouble gaining that sloper there that she's on.
Yeah, definitely trying to reward not just reaching up and touching the hold and having to actually execute the move. And we see a top there.
A couple of ladies have topped this one, but we've also seen some really good separation. Again, every time they fall, they're going to lose 0.01 points, and that's going to help separate the field as we look back on scores.
We've got, is it Sam Enright? Yep, Sam Enright on number 2 right now. One of those little slow to fast moves.
Sam Enright coming in qualifying in 19th out of 25 here. Again, if you guys want to follow along at home with scores, you can go to usaclimbing.org and go over to the results page. You're just on the home page, go over to climb, scroll down, there's results, and you can type in national and then just scroll down to the Collegiate National and follow along with live scores. So you can see after people finish their 3rd climb how things are shaking out and what the others need to do to keep up. I believe this is Riley. Oh no, it's not Riley Varner. Sorry, I got that mixed up.
I think that is Riley.
Oh, it is Riley Varner. Really trying his best to make that paddle move stick.
It's a tough one, man. That boulder is not easy. We got Jesse Grouper getting ready to start on men's 1. Jesse finished 2nd in sport this afternoon.
Then we've got Hannah Schofield on women's 1.
Jesse, one of those athletes that competed in all 3 disciplines this weekend.
He did great in sport as well.
second place, I believe, right?
Yeah, he did a fantastic job.
Yeah. Didn't do too shabby in speed as well.
We got Grace over there on women's 2 getting ready for this little hop dyno.
There we go.
Crowd going wild for Jesse Grouper as Chris Hampton, our MC this evening, calls out his name. This crowd is huge, and they were waiting around at the food and party this evening for about 3 hours before this competition started.
It's really cool what Momentum Climbing has done for this event. You know, they organized the party for the kids, and it seems like everybody had a great time. There's, like you said, a ton of people packed into this building right now. Oh, we got Dom making progress.
Grabbing that 15. I haven't seen anybody hit the 15 yet this evening.
Very interesting beta. There we go, Jesse at the top. Flash on men's 1.
Very cool. So we've seen at least 3 tops so far.
Is that Jess Walker getting on men's 3? Out of CU? Is that CU or is that CSU?
Jess Walker is at Colorado State University, yeah. Here's a good shot on women's 2.
There we go. Grace getting the 10-point.
I'm not sure if we've seen any ladies able to make this move to that 15 zone point. But Grace is a very experienced climber.
Oh.
Yeah. Again, we got Hannah Schofield here on women's 1. Hannah's out of the University of Utah. Dom trying to get back to that high point. He did gain the 15, so he's got points there. Now he's just got to try and get to the top. He does have just 1 minute and 2 seconds left, so again, knowing that he has one more boulder problem ahead of him, he's got to really decide how much energy to expend on this climb.
Yeah, it's something that, again, part of the strategy. You know, Dom also is one of the guys that participated in all 3 disciplines. He's got to be a little bit tired at this point, I would assume.
Absolutely.
Let's see what he does here. Oh. He spent a lot of energy the last 2 days between sport, speed, and bouldering qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing qualifiers all yesterday, and then they're doing all the ones who've made it are doing all 3 of these disciplines today as well. That's a lot of climbing to be doing in 2 days at your limit.
It's a lot of climbing, yeah. That's something we definitely take into consideration for setting. Knowing that a lot of the competitors are going to be a bit tired coming into finals, so, you know, it may not be the level of setting for an open boulder round or even a youth boulder round, being the kids are coming in fresh. A lot of these kids are tired, you know?
Absolutely. On men's 1. On men's 1 there, we've got Eric Jerome coming out, climber out of Utah. And
Utah has a strong support crew here.
Definitely. And then Lexi Kimes from the University of North Florida.
There we go. Hearing some of those chants.
We kind of have our first look here at the women's final round scores of what's been entered in thus far, with Karen Gilbert in first, Laura Melton in second, and Madison Crowley in third. As these climbers finish up, we're going to try and keep those scores updated for you. Benjamin Rowe is sitting in first place with Riley Varner in second, and Avery Aberratine in third, tied with Duncan Muir. So as we move through the event, we'll see those change. You can also check out the live scoring at usaclimbing.org under the results tab. And if you guys have any questions, go over to Twitter and send them on over to us at USA Climbing is the handle. We'll do our best to field those questions for you.
Dan Yu on men's 2 now. A little targeting move there, missing it twice.
Brenda, who we saw top women's 1, is making her way through this 10-point zone here on women's 2. We haven't seen anybody get to the 15 thus far, but as we move through this this field of female competitors, I'm sure we'll start seeing them get closer and closer. And then the crowd will go wild as soon as somebody sticks that move.
Absolutely. That one's sports action for sure. Body's getting laid up pretty horizontal. Should be cool.
All right.
Can't wait to see somebody stick it.
Brenda getting set up for this move here. Loses her foot, and that was just enough. Lexi Kimes trying to get up to that sloper. That has been an issue for these ladies, just getting past that 10-point zone. The ones who've been able to hold it generally move on to the 15, but they've got to get the move first. Eric Jerome's got 1:36 seconds left, and he is trying to navigate his way, campusing his feet through.
Doing the intended beta there. Yep, here we go. Maybe it's up. Yeah, man.
He's got a match.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah.
Top from Eric Jerome of the University of Utah, and like we said, they've got a huge crowd, so they were screaming for him.
Yeah, Utah, Texas, some of the bigger schools have tons of kids. We can hear it right now. They're chanting. They've got some cool, almost war cries going on. You know,
it's that college chant thing. You see it at football games,
exactly.
You see it at basketball games, and now we're seeing it here in climbing, where these teams kind of build up their chants and their songs, and the crowd's singing it.
Yeah, kind of like what you were saying earlier with the scholarship thing. It's we're starting to see that camaraderie and the football chants and things showing up.
Absolutely.
Next thing you know, we'll have marching bands showing up.
People painting their bodies. And
there's a kid down with the CSU painted all over his entire face in the crowd. It's awesome.
All right, Brenda eyeing up this 15-zone hold.
Oh. Oh.
We got Lexi Kimes, Dan Yu.
Here we go. Oh.
Again, 11 seconds left.
Looks like we got Solomon Barth getting ready to start men's number 1.
Solomon killed it all day today. He was in speed and in sport. Now he's doing really well here in bouldering. Always has a really great demeanor, too. He's just always smiling through everything.
Absolutely. Solomon's a great kid. Spent a couple weeks with him in Bishop this year, and he's one of those guys that he's actually the person I was thinking about earlier when I was talking about the top dogs rooting on their teammates. Sol climbs V14 and 514, and he's cheering just as loud for his 5'9" and V2 teammates as he is for anybody in an open field. Really great ambassador to our sport, sweet guy, smart guy, definitely somebody that to keep an eye on for competitions in the future. And currently, he just placed 3rd at Sport Open.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a monster.
On women's 1 there, we just saw that was Sarah Gearheart. She's from University of Redlands. And here on women's 2, we've got Hannah Schofield.
Jesse Grouper on men's 2.
Jesse Grouper also climbed really well earlier today.
He's gone really well all weekend. In general, he climbs really well. Let's see if he can navigate this sequence here. Looking pretty good.
For those who missed it, Jesse got first place in sport this afternoon. And he's looking really strong at the top of this. That's the first 15 zone we've seen on this boulder.
Yeah, little beta break there.
Clean and comfortable on the 25.
Skipping that big wave outright.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this is Sarah Gearhart out of the University of Redlands. Finding a nice, comfortable spot to rest. Solomon Barth showing his experience brushing that volume off.
I think he's the first guy I've seen brush it. Smart and kind of a disadvantage coming out later in the field. Those volumes are getting hot from the lights, and they're getting grease and skin all over them and lots of chalk buildup. So Saul, being the experienced competitor he is, grabbing that stick brush and giving it a good cleaning before giving it a second go.
Absolutely.
Grace on number 3 and Dom on number 3 as well.
Do you think Dom has any advantage being a little bit taller? I was talking earlier about how height can affect certain climbs, but, you know, I mean, it usually balances out because of, you know, high feet, low feet, reach, so on and so forth. Does it help him here on men's 3, do you think?
I think as setters, one of the things that we definitely look at is, you know, the use of volumes and being able to create equitable foot positions for varying heights. You know, it's I think a misconception that that volumes automatically make something you know, a competition style boulder or a World Cup style boulder, and ultimately at the end of the day, volumes are more or less used to create an even playing field for varying heights. You know, it's so hopefully he doesn't have an advantage being a little bit taller. But yeah, it's always a factor we have to deal with. You know, we've got Jesse and Sam Enright that are well over 6 feet tall, and you know, we saw one of the earlier competitors, probably about my height, 5'6", 5'7", 5'8". You know,
yeah,
it's a big range of size. So we do our best to utilize volumes to create equitable, you know, foot heights and spans.
Yeah, we just saw Solomon Barth walk off the mat with 30 seconds left. He didn't think he was going to make it to the top of that again. Smart climber, knowing that he probably didn't have enough time and he's got to save some energy for later. But again, that's going to cost him not being able to top this first boulder problem, as we've seen other competitors do.
Yeah, absolutely. He might have been looking at skin as well. Those volumes are real textured and sliding off of them. I had 3 fingers bleeding on Thursday when we foreran these boulder problems, so simultaneously.
Here's another look at the women's final scores. Karen Gilbert, Lauren Melton, Allison Kahn, getting good separation amongst these females, and we also saw the men just before that.
We got Dan Yu on number 3.
And Brenda Suresh over there on women's 3. We just saw Grace McCain get a high point on women's 3. She had definitely secured the...
Oh, Carrie Scott. Carrie Scott is an amazing rock climber, super smart rock climber. She knows what she's doing. Seasoned youth competitor, climbs 5'14". She knows what to do. It's just a matter of executing here.
Yeah, she looked really strong in the sport round as well. She's very, very composed. You can tell she knows exactly how to use her balance and her technique, when to find those rests, and her body positioning is great. She's very determined.
Absolutely. Really nice person as well. I was fortunate enough, as I said earlier, to hang out with Solomon and Bishop in January this year, and he was there with a bunch of the collegiate competitors, and Carrie Scott was there, and also just awesome to watch those kids just root each other on, and, you know, everything from Solomon putting down the mandala sit start to Carrie hanging out and, you know, getting out of her element in the bouldering field a little bit.
Here we've got Lexi Kimes from Florida. Again, trying to eye up that 15 zone. This one's proving to be a little tough for these girls. These big power moves, big dynamic power moves are a little tough. But, you know, we've got a strong contingent of females coming up. Definitely going to go down. All right, here's Brenda Suresh on women's 3 as well, trying to figure out this feet first move here.
There we go, making it work. Oh,
Brenda again is out of Stanford, one of the top teams this season. I believe last we saw they were in the lead for the overall team score. That could change a lot due to all today's finals, but they took 3rd last year, and one of the competitors was Colorado State, who took 2nd last year, and they weren't really in the running just yet.
ooh.
That was Eric Jerome that we just saw in men's 2, getting close to that top. Looking forward to when somebody sticks the paddle dyno on this men's 3. The level in the crowd goes crazy.
Looks like Dan's not thinking too much about continuing past that, trying to stick straight to the flat hold volume draped over the blocks volume hanging down from the angle change there. Lined up pretty nicely. gonna go ahead and step out of here, John. Thanks for having me in the booth.
Absolutely,
As
Jeremy.
always, you do a great job on these things, and thanks for your support and help this week.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Great route setting. We'll talk to you later on.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers. All right, looking at Eric Jerome here on men's 2. He did get close to that top, and he wants it. He's only got 16 seconds left in another climb. I don't think this is going to happen for him unless he pulls out some magic. So coming up on number 1 here is Kira Parker of University of Utah's climbing team. And on men's 1 over here, we have Thomas Pitzel. Thomas Pitzel has competed in all 3 events, is a fantastic climber as well. Earlier today in sport, Thomas ended up 11th. He also competed in speed, and he's just a strong all-around climber.
Representing Maryland, our speed champion today, Thomas Pitzel.
He ended up being the speed champion earlier on.
Representing the University of Utah, Kira Parker.
Kira Parker, another of those University of Utah climbers. Such a large contingent of climbers coming out of the University of Utah. They did take first place last season, and it's obvious why. There's so many of these climbers in finals throughout sport, speed, and bouldering. On men's 2, we've got Solomon Barth, looking pretty strong moving up through these early moves. And then on the right-hand side there, women's 2, we have Sarah Gearheart from University of Redlands. Sarah's having a little trouble with these opening moves.
All moving slow and steady. Nice, Solomon, come on. Stanford, where are you at out there? Nice, Solomon, come on. Let's make some noise, Stanford.
Very cool. That is the second top that we have seen today. On men's 2, Sarah Gearhart making it up past that jump. She was able to get a little higher, but not as far as we've seen some other ladies. She's going to have to try a little bit harder to make it through those moves. Hopefully over to the 15. Still waiting for somebody to top that. We haven't seen a top on women's 2, only a couple on men's 2, and no tops thus far on men's or women's 3.
You got this, Hannah.
Dom Speranza on men's 3, trying to figure out that paddle. We still have yet to see anybody stick that, but again, Dom is qualifier number 18 out of 25. Getting some really funky action over here on women's 3.
Nice, Thomas, come on. Come on, Thomas. You're going to have to fight for it. Come on.
Thomas Pitzel needs to get both his hands on this to top it. He was dangling there for a second, but he's looking a little more. Oh, commentator's curse. Tried to match it, and he was out of there. That does not count as a top. In order for climbers to finish a climb in the bouldering competition, you need to get both hands, maintain control until the judge gives you the okay to drop down. That did not count, and with 40 seconds left to go, Thomas is going to call it on men's 1. He does not look happy with that. Sarah Gearhart's giving it another go. And then on women's 1, Kira Parker is taking her time trying to figure out this move. Again, 20 seconds left.
Come on, Sarah.
Not going to be enough for Kira. 10 seconds. And Sarah is off the wall. Up next for the ladies, we have Katie Lamb. She has competed in all 3 climbing competitions as well, winning sport. She is our sport champion for the collegiate climbing competition here in Houston, Texas. And out of Atlanta on men's 1, we have William Pear from the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Already on women's number 1, representing Stanford, Katie Lamb.
Again, Katie Lamb is one of those competitors who competed in all 3 events today, all 3 events yesterday. That sort of effort has got to be really taxing on these competitors, which might even the field a little bit for the competitors who only had to compete in 1 event.
On women's number 2, that's not a problem.
On men's 2 there, we have Christopher Warsdale of CU Boulder. Christopher, another competitor who competed in multiple events today. And then Lexi Kimes out of Florida on women's 3, along with Eric Jerome on men's 3. We'll see if Eric Jerome can figure out this little paddle move here.
Lexi getting the ring proposed. Come on, Lexi.
This move is definitely sports action. Christopher Warsdale trying to eye up this jib on the edge of that volume. It is not a good hold. I watched a handful of the route setters running it, and even setting up into it, they were having trouble holding on to it. Definitely a tough move for these competitors who are already a little taxed from these early climbs as well as climbing earlier today. Seems like Lexi's having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out this first move. Again, it's just experience to eyeball that move and know to go feet first. Figure out the proper way to do it again to try and gain that flash early on and get a leg up on your competitors. Minute 37 left in this round for these climbers. We've still got the 2 climbers on the ground for men's and women's 1. That's again William Pear out of the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. And Katie Lamb, climber out of Stanford, who took first place in sport climbing today. If you guys do have questions or comments, feel free to reach out on Twitter. The handle is @USA Climbing. These climbers are vying for 1 of 5 spots for the potential to go to the University World Championships in Slovakia. There's a top from Katie Lamb. I'm sure she's happy about that. The top 5 from each gender and each discipline will have the opportunity to go to Slovakia to go represent the USA in the University World Championships.
Come on, Carrie, you got this.
Carrie Scott, as Jeremy Ho was saying, is a very strong climber. She is one of the few ladies to be able to even jump at this 15 scoring hold, and it'd be really great to see her top it right now. In the sport climbing competition earlier today, usable surface was a thing. Here in bouldering, you have to control the hold. So the bouldering competition, there is no usable surface, no movement, none of that counts. All that counts is making the move, sticking the hold, getting to the top. All right, out here number 28, bib 28, we have Alexandra Bradley from UC Santa Barbara. And then on men's 1, we have Max Hammer from the University of Michigan. Max also competed in multiple events this weekend.
Nice, Thomas. Come on.
Got Thomas here on men's 2. And Kira Parker on women's 2. The crowd is going wild as Thomas Pitzel from the University of Maryland is making his way up. Solomon Barth also stuck that paddle move on men's 3. This may be Solomon's first attempt. I was unsure, didn't get a chance to see, but he had potential for a flash. That cross move on women's 2 is definitely giving these ladies a run for their money, but we are only about halfway through this field right now. So we're going to see some of the big guns coming out later on. As we saw in the sport climbing finals, we did have some trouble getting up the route about 2/3 of the way, and then as soon as we got into that top 12, top 10 category in both the men and the female, we got a lot of those experienced youth climbers coming out and able to crush the moves that some of the other competitors were getting stumped on. So some of these moves that the climbers haven't been able to top out, I'm sure we're going to see as we move forward throughout this field. Solomon Barth on men's 3. Let's see if we can get a view of him sticking that paddle dyno. Making it look easy. On the right-hand side there, we've got Sarah Gearheart getting ready to go feet first up this women's 3 climb. Solomon Barth able to stick 10 twice now. We'll see if he can maintain 15 here. Looks like a really tough move. Thomas Pitzel on men's 2. Shaking his head after not being able to top out men's 1 due to time constraints and slipping off the finish hold, and now struggling at the top of this men's number 2. Thomas Pitzel obviously expects a little bit better of himself, but these are some tough climbs. Bit of interesting data there from Kira Parker over on women's 2. Instead of trying the big cross, she was trying to do a drop down double clutch. Didn't look like it was a bad idea, actually. Solomon Barth got 37 seconds left. We're going to see if he can make it to the top of this. This is going to be his last go of the evening. The only competitor to make it this far in men's 3, though he was unable to top men's number 1, so he needs all the points he can get. Whoa! Trying the big dyno to the finish hold. Those cheetah holds are not fantastic. Thomas here from University of Maryland. 13 seconds left, trying to make everything he can count up this wall. Just not enough gusto. That's going to bring us on to Hannah Tolson here on women's 1. Hannah Tolson is from Gonzaga University. And then bib number 12, this is Charles Barron. It's like
coming out on men's 1 for the U.S. Military Academy, Charles Barron.
We are now in the top 10 of the field so far. Charles Barron came into this competition in 9th place qualifying. And this being Hannah Tolson qualifying in 9th place. So we're going to start seeing a lot of these strong, experienced climbers. Over in the background on women's 2, we have Katie Lamb. Katie Lamb's on the Stanford team. Again, won sport finals today. Competed in all 3 climbing competitions. On men's 3 here, we have Christopher Warsdale. Christopher, another tall climber, able to touch that 5-scoring Waco, but unable to maintain. As a reminder, this is William Pear from the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. I'm guessing out of Chattanooga, he's more used to big slopey climbs. Katie at the top of this. I would not be surprised to see a 15 zone gained here from Katie.
Rethinking her tactics there. Come on, Katie, you got this.
William Pear giving himself a little bit of a rest here. Katie trying to match that hold. Again, we've seen 3 bits of beta, nobody able to top this out.
Nice, Hannah, super strong.
Hannah Tolson making her way through these climbs. It's been a little bit since we've seen any competitors make it up through this section. The last one we saw was Grace McKeon. She had gained this 10-point score here. as Hannah has. This is, I think, only the second female that we've seen get up this high.
Nice, Carrie. So solid. Come on, Carrie.
I'm sorry, that is not Hannah. That is the second time that I have messed that one up. That's Carrie Scott. Carrie Scott, we saw climbing earlier. J.O. was commenting on her ability to climb both inside and outside. "50 seconds left. Katie Lamb's going to give it one more go.
Nice, Katie. Come on.
As is William Pear. Both these climbers with 39 seconds on the clock are definitely racing against the clock. Again, burning a little bit of energy, but if it means getting to the top or getting ahead of the other competitors, it's really what they've got to do. William Pear off the wall. He's not going to make it any further on that climb. Katie's got 13 seconds, and that's going to be it for Katie Lamb on women's 2. On men's 1 here, we've got Zachary Levy from the Colorado College and Lily Canavan out of the University of Vermont on ladies 1. Lily climbed in multiple climbing disciplines as well today, ending up in 8th place out of the sport climbing event earlier on this afternoon. I'm sorry, take that back. She scored 4th at the sport climbing event this afternoon. Alexandra Bradley there on women's 2. Trying to be the first lady to make the move into this number 15 zone. Still have yet to see anybody top this boulder problem. Lily Canavan on women's 1 just topping out.
No problem over there. Come on, Thomas, you got this thing. Come on, Zach. Come on.
There we see Max Hammer falling off that men's 2. Seems like the second climbs are definitely giving these competitors a run for their money. Alexandra Bradley, again, giving this women's 2 another run for its money. See if anybody can get this 15 zone. I can tell you from where I'm sitting, it's starting to get warm in this building with all the bodies and all the lights, which means any of the slopers on this wall are slowly starting to get worse and worse as these climbers are climbing on it. It's getting caked in with chalk and skin and all the goods. We got Zach Levy here on men's 1 out of Colorado College. Eyeing up that 15 zone. He's able to grab that. That is control. Looking a little shaky though. We saw some earlier competitors top this. It's interesting that it's given quite a few of these later competitors a tough time. Max Hammer here, again slipping off a little lower than he'd like. 24 seconds left. Thomas trying to stick that move without doing the paddle through dyno. Kira struggling with the toes. 12 seconds left. I don't think any of these competitors are going to make any bold moves, any deciding moves. Got some scores down there for you to take a look at. Looks like Grace is sitting in second currently, as the standings are, although we're constantly adding to the scores and updating them. So if you want to follow those, you can at usaclimbing.org. Just go over to the climb drop-down menu, click on results, type in nationals, make your way to the Collegiate Nationals page. Sounds like a lot, but once you're there, the scores automatically update for you, and you can follow along as live as we can. On ladies 1 here, we've got Bamini Horstman from Davidson College. She also was competing in the sport climbing event earlier this afternoon. And in the fantastic shorts, also competing earlier today was Alex Waterhouse out of Dartmouth College. He's a competitor that everybody should know if you've been paying attention to the last couple seasons. Very strong climber.
Strong, baby, come on.
Here on women's 3, we have Katie Lamb. Again, she won sport nationals today for the collegiate finals early on, doing a huge drop knee to get out to that hold. But unable to move past it, unfortunately. Here, this is Baron Charles from the United States Military Academy out of West Point, New York. Looking really strong in that cross move. Again, that move is not easy. Bamini topping out ladies 1 after just a couple of tries. That's got to feel really good for her. And a sour move on ladies 2 there, as the real Hannah Tolson falls off the wall. Alex Waterhouse executing that dynamic toe hook expertly, as you would expect from a seasoned competitor. Seemingly effortless drop down as well. He's cruising through this section, but again, as route setter Jeremy Ho was saying about these upper moves, you know, it's body position, it's tension, and those holds, they're getting worse throughout the evening, so unless they brush them, they're only getting worse and worse. That is the first competitor on women's 2, Hannah Tolson, able to maintain, hold on to that 15, and take time to pump up the crowd.
Come on, man, finish it up. You got this.
Hannah Tolson out of Gonzaga University with 1 minute left, 1 move away. She does not want to do that move again. She took a wild fall last effort, and here she is at the top, eyeballing this last hold. Oh, not enough for the top. She does have 43 seconds, but she appears to be happy with that and is going to take a seat, save her energy for that 3rd climb. Katie Lamb at the top of women's 3. This is the farthest we've seen anybody. Unfortunately, she doesn't get points for touching the 15. She has to control that. And with 24 seconds, it looks like Katie's going to have a seat. Alex maintaining that 15 hold. Unable to top it with 15 seconds to go. He is going to jump on again. No, he's not. All right, coming up here on women's 1, we have Jordan Zabrecki from UNC.
And for the Colorado School of Mines, Austin Purdy.
And Austin Purdy on men's 1. You can see Lily Canavan in the background. Lily Canavan cruising up through this early section. We'll see how she does at the top of this.
Lily Canavan moving quick across the bench.
Again, we've only seen one girl make it to that 15 hold. That was our last competitor up there. Lily Canavan taking a dive off of women's 2. Here we have Max Hammer taking a look at his finger here on men's 3. Not sure what's going on. If he is bleeding, that would be, I believe they'd have to call a halt and fix it. Make sure to clean up the hold, but maybe not. That could just be me speculating from the commentator's booth from far away. So we see route setter Cody Grasky on the left over there cleaning off those holds. Max Hammer's taking a seat. We may have to have him jump back in here on the next. They'll restart his clock where he left off on women's 3.
Nice, Zach, come on.
On women's 1 there, we have Jordan Zabrecki from UNC. A little foot slip caused her to pop off prematurely. She's got 1:14 left.
Nice, Lily, come on.
All right, Lily Canavan on women's 2 there.
Come on, Lily, you got this.
Also trying the double clutch method instead of the cross. But with 47 seconds left to go, she's going to have a seat, wait out this next round.
Nice work, Austin, come on.
All right. Here we have Austin Purdy from the Colorado School of Mines on men's 1, doing his absolute best to get to the top. This men's 1 has given these climbers quite a bit of trouble. Just getting to the top seems to be an issue. We've got Bamini Horstman over there getting ready for women's 2. She was able to top the first climb after just a couple of tries, giving her probably a bit of confidence on that one. Annika Nishella here from Ramapo College of New Jersey on women's 1. And over on the men's side, we have Raymond Hansen from Hudson Valley Community College. Being smart and brushing up those holds. Bamini getting on in the background there on women's 2. It's been interesting to see how these competitors have all struggled from the 25th all the way up to where we are now, coming into the 5th qualifying position here. Over on men's 2, we're seeing Alex Waterhouse just popping off of that wall. And there we see a top by Raymond Hansen from Hudson Valley Community College. Not sure if that was a flash, but that was either his first or second go, probably making him feel real confident about moving through these next couple boulders. That sloper's given a lot of these competitors an issue on women's one. Annika struggling to find the body position to hold herself onto that wall. Alex Waterhouse setting himself up. There we get a quick look of Hannah Tolson eyeballing women's number 3. She was the only one to top women's 2. She's sitting pretty right now, at least when it comes to women's 2. Alex Waterhouse using the hand jam. Not sure if this was intended, but it's definitely working, at least for a moment, for him. All right, here's our look at Hannah Tolson from Gonzaga University. Again, she was the only female to top women's 2 so far, and she's one of 3 or 4 ladies to make it to this point. I don't believe we've seen any females grab the 15-point score on this climb. It's a huge body tension barn door move. Also a little precise with that blocker you can see on the other side of the jug. Unable to hold it. She does have a minute. We'll see if she jumps back on. These climbers can hear the timer count out 1 minute remaining, which means that they're going to be rushing themselves, especially if they were unsure how to get through a section. Annika's looking a little calm and collected here, though. Able to touch the top, but not able to hold it. It looked like she rushed that just a little bit. Bimini's got 24 seconds and she's low on this route, so she's going to rush through these moves. That hand jam is impressive that Alex is trying to use. I'm not sure if it's the go-to beta. With 10 seconds left, both of these girls on the wall are going to be trying. Bimini down and Annika down. And no tops there in that round. On ladies 1, we have Madeline Morris from the University of Houston, a local girl. The crowd's going wild for her right now. And then Vincent Malacone, University of Washington, on men's 1. As Chris Hampton, our MC, calls out Madeline's name, the crowd is just going absolutely wild. I can barely hear what's going on in this headset. And the whole crowd's chanting Maddie. It's a very enthusiastic crowd here at the gym in Houston. We got Jordan Zabrecki from UNC on women's 2 here.
Come on, Jordan, you got this.
And over on men's 2, we've got Austin Purdy from the Colorado School of Mines. Going with the Gaston beta, not quite trying that hand jam that we saw from Alex Waterhouse. This seems to be the beta that works the best so far. We've only seen a couple tops on men's 2 and only 1 on women's 2. Lily Canavan moving through women's 3, looking pretty comfortable, but these moves definitely get off balance and tension strong for these competitors. I don't believe we've seen a top of women's 3 yet, or even any of them able to control that 15-point zone.
Come on, Lily, you got this.
Zachary Levy from Colorado College on men's 3 there, trying to figure out that paddle dyno. Figured out a little bit, not enough to drive him over to that hold, let alone hold on to it. Here we're seeing Madeline Morris, Maddie, cruising up women's 1 with the whole crowd behind her. It's always good to have a local climber in the competition. It gets everybody super psyched.
Nice, Maddie, come on.
Maddie gaining the 15. And eyeing up that 25. Able to top that. In the background, Jordan Zabrecki unable to top that climb. Women's 2 there. Austin Purdy making that cross look fairly easy. Let's see how he does with these upper moves. This is where a lot of these gentlemen are having trouble. 1 minute on the clock. Lily Canavan cruising through this. We saw her make it up towards that 15-point zone. It's the highest we've seen any ladies get on this thing, so if she can secure that, she's going to be sitting pretty here in the upper echelons of this women's bouldering field. That was the best run that we've seen. Unfortunately, it still doesn't count for points. She was able to touch it and even maintain a little tension, but it's not going to be enough, and with 22 seconds left, I don't think she's got enough time to make it up there. She knows it as well. Getting ready there on women's 1. We have Zoe Steinberg. She's going to be our third to last competitor, qualifying into third place here. On men's 1, we've got Daniel Popowski from the University of Utah climbing team. Zoe Steinberg coming out of Temple Climbing Club. Here's some scores for you guys to check out. Again, they're still being updated. They're still kind of giving you guys, or still entering in scores, so this could change. Again, if you guys are following live, you'll see the same scores we see as they update. Just so you guys know, awards are going to be on a separate live stream after the event. There's going to be a period where they wait for some appeals to go through, get set up, and you'll be able to go to the YouTube page and click over to the live stream and watch the awards, see who won. Very impressive dyno there on men's 2 by Raymond Hansen from Hudson Valley Community College. Raymond Hansen cruising up this section of the boulder, but not enough to get up higher. Annika Nishala from Ramapo College of New Jersey struggled on that first climb, and it looks like she's having a little trouble here. She qualified in 5th place, so it's surprising that she's not doing a little better, but sometimes in these high volume competitions, nerves can get to you. Again, the holds are not so great. Daniel Popowski getting up near the top of that, but unable to secure the finish. It looks like Zoe Steinberg hasn't made it thus far either. Bimini Horseman making it to that same hold that we've seen a couple ladies at, though no top yet on men's 3, or women's 3, and over there on men's 3 we've got Alex Waterhouse. Also no top thus far on men's 3. The highest we've seen was Solomon Barth trying to secure the 15-zone hold. Unable to secure it, so that top is yet to be seen. Again, those holds there on that volume are not great. If your feet cut on that, as we saw with Raymond Hansen here, it's definitely very, very hard for them to hold on. I watched a handful of the route setters running that move, and if any of their feet cut or they had to force a foot cut to get their foot up, a lot of times they were popping off of that hold. They had to try real hard. So, you know, holding on to that men's 2 hold really requires keeping your feet on as long as you can. Ladies 2 there. Annika is just moving a little too fast, it seems. You know, she's trying to cruise through this section and unfortunately moving a little too fast to stay on the wall. Still have not seen a top from Zoe Steinberg or Daniel Popowski from the Utah climbing team. These, you know, in theory with the way this works in reverse order, usually you see the strongest, most well-rounded climbers come out near the end of this competition. This just really speaks to how the route setters have set this competition and that everybody's really struggling on these climbs. We are seeing tops, we are seeing progress, but, you know, even the most well-rounded climber is definitely finding a little bit of trouble on these finals routes. Daniel Popowski getting set up for the finish move here. Oh, touched it, but not enough. And with 22 seconds left, He's not going to have enough time. He looks disappointed. Raymond Hansen unable to do it. He went for it anyway. Daniel Popowski giving it one more run just for good measure. All right. On women's 3 there, we had our first glimpse of Jordan Zabrecki. Here on women's 1, we've got second place qualifier Kayla Liu from Dartmouth College. Dartmouth is one of the teams right now that are in the running for the overall team score. They've come out really strong in this competition. We'll see how Kayla does. Over on men's 2, we've got Kyle Struthers. Kyle Struthers hailing out of University of Minnesota, also qualifying in second. We've got 2 more climbers here to get on men's and women's 1, and then we're going to start winding this competition down. In the background there on ladies 2, we've got Madeline Morris, again, hometown hero out of University of Houston. On men's 2, that's Vincent Molicone out of the University of Washington. Maddie Morris looking really comfortable right now, but this is the move that's been giving all of our female competitors a hard time. Only one has topped it, and that was Hannah Tolson. Maddie's trying to figure out what to do in this section. If Maddie sticks this move, though, it is guaranteed that the roof is blowing off with the sound of the crowd cheering for her. I hope she gets this move right now. With the full turnaround, too. Maddie Morris, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but this crowd is so loud right now. Second female to top this climb. The crowd is going crazy for this University of Houston student. We've also got a top on ladies 1 from Kayla Liu of Dartmouth College. And that gentleman there with the knee brace is Kyle Struthers from the University of Minnesota. He's only got 1:37 seconds left to get to the top of this. As we said before, those volumes do get slick as the chalk builds up on it. And as you can see, Kyle's slipping off of that one there. You can see Maddie smiling in that chair. She knows she's done well. Over on men's number 3.
Nice, Jordan. Come on.
Austin Purdy is brushing up that hold. Smart competitor. He's got 1 minute left. He's got to make something happen here.
Strong, Jordan.
Jordan Zabrecki not able to do anything. University of North Carolina student with 46 seconds left. There's a lot of moves on that climb. Can't move very quickly through them. It's going to be tough for her to get back on that climb and make anything happen.
Nice, Kyle. Come on.
Kyle, however, if he can make this happen, he's got 33 seconds. It's not out of the wheelhouse for competitors to cruise through these moves, but he's going to have to try to make this one happen, get to the top of it. Just not enough for our second qualifier, Kyle Struthers.
10 seconds.
And with 10 seconds left, we see Zoe Steinberg stepping up there, getting ready for women's 2. On women's 1, here we have Megan Lynch of Montgomery College. She qualified in first place. See how Megan does on this first one. It's been tough for these ladies to get a flash on this first climb. It's definitely a slopey route, and again, it's only getting worse as the lights shine on it. Here's a quick look at the climbs. Jesse Grouper in first place. He was in first place. He finished first place in the sport finals. So if he gets to first place, that's going to be a fantastic day for Jesse Grouper here at the Collegiate Climbing Nationals.
Zoe Steinberg powering her way across women's 2. Come on, Zoe.
Zoe Steinberg getting bodied going horizontal on that jump, but she was able to maintain quite a bit of squeeze on that hold, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see her stick it next move. Over on the left there on men's 1, we have Daniel Popowski gaining that number 10. He is looking comfortable, looking composed, able to maintain that foot cut on those terrible holds too. A lot of power here from Daniel Popowski. Over there on women's 1, we got Megan Lynch, out of Montgomery College. Did not get the flash. As I said, a flash on this climb is very difficult for these competitors. We'll see if Zoe can stick this move. She now knows what it feels like. She knows the hold. She's just got to be a little more precise. Absolutely, she sticks that move. If she gets to the top of this, she is one of 3 ladies to finish it, though she was not able to finish women's 1, which puts her a little bit behind, but we'll see how it fares in the long run. We've still got one more climb for Zoe at women's 3, finishing with a little extra time to rest.
Come on, Danny, you got this. University of Utah, where you guys at? Let's help him out here. Come on,
Looks like Danny Popowski fell off of men's 2 again. We saw him walk back into frame over there. Men's and women's 3 giving these competitors a tough time. Only Solomon Barth so far has been able to maintain the 5-point paddle dyno there on men's 3. This is one of those risky moves to set where, you know, in theory, all of these competitors have done this move a handful of times in their gym throughout competition, but when given 4 minutes and given the lights and given all the chalk on these holds, even though they can do this move given, you know, a handful of attempts, it's really tough for them to execute it in this sort of setting. Dan Popowski getting up in these moves. He's done these, he knows these moves. Now it comes down to strength and executing them properly, maintaining proper body tension so we don't see any foot slips, and then maintaining the power throughout the climb. "16 seconds left. Daniel's gonna have a seat.
10 seconds.
And with 10 seconds left over there, 1 second left. Raymond Hansen, that's going to be it for him, unable to gain that number 5 spot. From the University of Washington on men's 3, we have Vincent Mollicone. And on the ladies over there, we have hometown hero Madeline Morris from the University of Houston. We'll see how she does on ladies 3. We still have not seen a top there. Here on number 2, we have Kayla Liu from Dartmouth College. There's Maddie Morrison. The entire crowd screaming, "Let's go, Maddie," cheering her on. Obviously a favorite to win here in Houston. Good first attempt over there on men's 3 from Vincent. Ooh, Maddie getting a little twisted around. Ideally, she wants her right hand where her left hand is and her left hand where her right hand is, but she's been climbing fantastically this evening, so we'll see if she can pull something wacky out. Maybe just a little backflip.
Houston, that one was for you.
Maddie changed up her beta. She flipped it around. Over here, the number 2 qualifier, Kayla Liu, on the second climb. None of the ladies have done this first try. We're going to see how Kayla does on this climb. Come on, Kayla.
Come on, Kayla, you got this.
trying to match it, but that hasn't worked thus far for any of the competitors. So far, the only thing that's worked is that gigantic cross that nobody really wants to do until you realize that's how you got to do it. Maddie's still unable to make significant progress on this. She's got 2 competitors behind her, but she's sitting pretty with the top on the first 2 climbs. Maddie's figured out the opening beta here, feet first, trying to figure out how to get out to that hold. Very spread.
Come on, Kyle, you got this. Looking strong up there.
Kyle Struthers out of the University of Minnesota here on men's 2.
Nice, Kyle.
Able to hold that foot cut and get his foot back on. That's fantastic, but it does burn a lot of power. He's having trouble holding that number 15 hold. Kayla getting up high again. We'll see if she's figured out the beta for this cross.
Come on, Kayla. Work it out.
She's got 1 minute, and she just heard that notification, meaning if she doesn't get it this time, she's going to have to jump right back on in order to have enough time to do this again. She's got 44 seconds. If she wants to do this, she needs to get back on and get up there. She's looking a little fatigued, but this is where it counts. Crowd chanting Maddie. She's figured out how to get through this. She's got 30 seconds to try and at least get up to the 10-point zone, which is where we've seen some of the other ladies get to. She topped the first 2. If she gets up there, she's sitting pretty for a potential podium. 14 seconds. Come on, Maddie. Ooh, not enough to get her up there, and 10 seconds isn't going to be enough to get back on. Men's 3 looking like it's giving everybody a run for their money again, with Vincent unable to top that one out. Daniel Popowski jumping on men's 3. Zoe Steinberg jumping on ladies 3. Zoe was unable to top the first one. She did get women's 2. Daniel Popowski having trouble this afternoon, or this evening. Here we have Palmer Larson jumping in just a round late. I'm unsure if they were unable to get him into his chair in time, but Palmer Larson is a very well-known competition rock climber, very strong. I wouldn't be surprised to see Palmer come out and do very well here in these in this round, even after some of the other competitors, seasoned competitors, didn't do as well. Zoe Steinberg cruising through this section. She's a very powerful climber. Zoe able to maintain down that jug just past the 10 spot. This is where a lot of the females have had trouble. If she can get this 15 hold, she's got high point. And with topping women's 2, that's going to put her in a good position if she can hold it. A lot of body tension here. Looked like she just barely missed it. She's still got 2 minutes and 37 seconds, plenty of time. Palmer looking comfortable up to this point. Commentator's curse. Had a little foot slip there, but he's still got plenty of time. He's a smart competitor. He's going to brush off those volumes. Here on ladies 2, we've got Megan Lynch, our final female competitor of the evening. Megan qualified in first place coming into finals here. Smart competitor as well. We'll see how she maintains, how she gets through this section. Trying a rose move on this. We have not seen this work yet. Not sure if it will. That looked powerful. Probably burned a lot of energy for Megan Lynch of Montgomery College, which is going to set her back coming into women's 3, or even maybe topping this women's 2.
Come on, Dan.
Daniel Popowski, like all of the other men, having trouble with that paddle over dyno. I'm sure the route setters are a little bugged about not seeing climbers make it too much further on that climb, but sometimes that's just the name of the game. They do their best to get an estimated guess, to do an approximation on who's here, how they're feeling. And, you know, sometimes you miss the mark by just a little bit, but it's still a show, and every time somebody sticks the move that everybody's having trouble with, you know, the crowd goes wild, and it definitely pumps up the crowd. So Megan Lynch having trouble there on women's 2. Seems like Daniel's just not getting enough momentum over to the right there. He's falling a little short, already falling away from the wall by the time he's at that Waco. And surprisingly, Palmer Larson unable to top this men's 1. Not using the toe on the volume like a lot of the other competitors had. Ooh, sweet and sour. We got Megan Lynch taking a full barrel roll off of that 15 hold. She's got 25 seconds. She's going to give it a run. She knows that she's got to get to the top of this thing. Look at her cruise up these moves. She knows how they go.
Come on, Megan, you got this.
Palmer Larson looks a little bummed at having to take a seat here. 10 seconds for Megan Lynch. She's got to get to the top of this rock climb. She's got 5 seconds. Come on, Megan. Oh, she touched it but did not have enough time or enough energy left to stick that move. Looking a little disappointed with herself. Here on men's and women's 3, we have Megan Lynch coming out as our #1 qualifier. This will be the last female up for the evening. And over on the left there, we've got Kyle Struthers, our 2nd qualifier out of the University of Minnesota. We'll see if Kyle can give this crowd a show, hopefully get one more climber through this paddle dyno before the night is over. Come on, Kyle. Trying the safe way originally to try and stick the move with a little bit of static tension through the toe hook, but unfortunately, as we've seen, the safest way is to really just drive through this entire move.
Come on, Kyle.
Still hoping to be able to do it statically. Kayla Liu, our 2nd female competitor, able to do that move without going feet first. That was very impressive. She's obviously got the reach to make the span, and she was able to keep the foot tension on the wall beneath her. Kayla is coming to this as the 2nd qualifier, so she's obviously a very strong, competent rock climber, experienced, and as we've seen, a lot of these ladies cruise through this climb and make it up to the 10 scoring zone. Though we still have not seen a top from this from the ladies on this women's 3. Hopefully we'll see one here from this Dartmouth competitor. Megan Lynch there's in the chair trying to get warm for women's 3. Trying to shake out any pump that's in her arms, gain back everything that she can. It's tough being in the chair because, you know, you've got to stay warm. You've also got to stay psyched. You can't worry too much about what's happening in the last couple climbs. She was unable to top that last one, but she's got to shake it off and she's got to get into this women's 3 climb and hopefully do better than the other competitors, making up what she couldn't get in women's 2. Kyle Struthers out of University of Minnesota getting set up again. This is a good shot here from the boys at Louder Than 11. A view we haven't been able to see from this climb yet. As you can see, those holds are not great, and the texture on that big sloping flat hold on the volume there that they have to paddle through, very fine texture, so there's not a lot of grit to it. Close but no cigar for Kyle Struthers. He's only got 48 seconds left to make this move happen. Honestly, if he can stick that first hold, that's going to do very well for him. At this point on men's 3, all they need to do is hold that 5-point zone, and that's going to do a whole lot for him coming into these final scores. As Kyle Struthers is the second to last qualifier, along with Kayla Liu here on women's and men's 3. It'd be nice to see it top. With 15 seconds or 12 seconds left, I don't know if we're going to see a whole lot going on. Kyle looking a little defeated, throwing his arms up. Kayla fighting it all the way through to the end, but not enough time on the clock for her to make anything happen there. Walking up to women's 3, Megan Lynch from Montgomery College. Megan qualifying in first. Needs to make up a little bit of time here in the end. She was able to stick the big crossing move on women's 2, but unable to top like some of the other females in this round. Palmer Larson here looking up at men's 2. And over on the left, we've got Max Hammer. Earlier, he had to take a seat due to, I believe, a bleeding finger. They're going to start him as soon as his time matches up to where he had to stop climbing. So Max Hammer here getting a little bit of a rest, but that's part of the deal when you run into a technical, is they throw you in at the end of the line there. Megan Lynch looking really strong. Again, we have not seen anybody top this climb. Megan just hitting that blocker, aiming a little high on that climb, but still with 3 minutes left, looking very frustrated with herself. Flapping her arms in frustration. Palmer Larson cruising up. He was unable to top men's 1. Also looked a little frustrated here at the end of this finals round, thinking maybe he should have been doing better on the first climb. This position, again, is very, very strong, very powerful. Those holds are not great and getting worse as this night goes on. Got a look here at Max Hammer. Again, earlier he had to take a seat due to a bloody finger. Unfortunately here, they do not allow you to just continuously bleed on hold, so he had to go back in isolation and wait until the end of the round. He is back on where he had to leave off in time, trying to figure out this paddle dyno like everybody else. Megan Lynch is looking good right now. She was able to touch that 15. Now she knows she's got to aim a little lower. We have not seen this move go yet. Able to get that hold better than any other competitor so far on women's 3, but unfortunately it only counts if she's able to hold onto the hold and maintain. Looks like Max Hammer might have split a finger again, split his tip, and if that's the case, I'm not sure what we're going to do here. He might have to go back in isolation until Palmer Larson competes. It's hard to tell from the booth, though. Looks like Max is going to continue. They will have some time in between to make sure that the hold no longer has blood on it, so it looks like Max is just going to continue and paddle through if that is the case. Palmer with 50 seconds left on the clock. Struggling with those early moves. That is not easy. A couple competitors have dynoed straight on through. Some of them have done this double Gaston move. Again, it comes down to strength and ability. Megan giving it one last valiant effort here with 30 seconds left on the clock. The only one to really get a good handhold on this 15 scoring. She is the candidate for topping this at this moment. Not sure if she can see the clock, but time is running out for Megan. Oh, that was the best that we have seen from any of the female competitors in being able to hang on to that hold. Max Hammer with one last effort, not going to be able to do it. Big round of applause for these competitors, and here come the route setters in to clean up that hold and get it ready for Palmer Larson. Quick look at the women's scores. Madeline Morris, hometown hero, sitting comfortably in first place as of right now. We'll see as these scores update if that's going to stand. Jesse Grouper, after winning the sport round earlier this afternoon, he's sitting in first place right now with the potential of being the champion of both bouldering and sport here at the 2018 Collegiate National Championship. It'd be a big win for Jesse Grouper today if he could pull out 2 wins. Competing all weekend, that can't be easy.
One more time, can I have the route setter crew stand up, please? I need everybody.
While we've got this time, I should give a big shout out to the route setters who set these rounds earlier today. We've got Jeremy Ho and Cody Grotsky, Keegan Minnock, Alex Borscht, Phil Simons, John Ungst was the chief. The apprentices were Randy Castellan, Joe Marciano, Mike Rosen, and our intern was Eric Anderson. These guys put in a lot of mileage on these climbs. As Jeremy Ho was saying earlier, at one point he had rubbed all the skin off of 3 of his fingertips down to where they started bleeding as they were forerunning. That's how much forerunning these guys have had to do this week. And they were still forerunning up until 15 minutes before this competition to make sure everything was right. These guys put in just as much effort, if not more, than these competitors throughout the weekend to make sure that this climbing competition is as perfect as possible. Just double checking that Waco doesn't have any residual blood from Max Hammer. They do have a very sterile system to clean these holds and make sure that it is ready for the next competitor. You can see Jeremy Ho and Cody Grotsky just double checking. Again, after this, there is going to be a separate live stream for the awards. There is an appeals window. I'll be signing off, and the appeals window will run, and as soon as they're ready, they're going to start the live stream for the awards. You can find that on the YouTube page for USA Climbing, or click on USA Climbing's home screen at usaclimbing.org. Scroll down to watch live, and you can find the link there for the awards ceremony that will be happening shortly after this competition wraps up. We only have one more climber on the wall. That's going to be Palmer Larson coming up here in just a moment. Sitting there in the chair over on men's 3, getting ready to hopefully wow the crowd with another successful climb of this paddle dyno, and with any luck, cruising all the way to the top. So far, we've only seen Solomon Barth be able to make it through, which is a fantastic job by Solomon, but he also had trouble on men's 1, so we'll see where that lands Solomon in the long run.
Could do it without the whole company innovating every year, making the holds better and better.
All right, 33 seconds, and then we'll see Palmer Larson on men's 3. It's a good moment to say thanks to Momentum Climbing Gym for putting on this event, and all of the volunteers. Honestly, without the volunteers, there's the route setter sitting down there. Without the volunteers, these events would not happen. We need so many volunteers for these competitions, and a lot of them do it year after year, and it's because of them that we're able to make this stuff work. It looks like with the unofficial results, Solomon Barth is sitting in 2nd place, with Jess Walker just behind him in 3rd. Palmer Larson here has a chance. He was also unable to top men's 1, also unable to top men's 2, so we'll see how he does here on men's 3, not climbing as well as he probably would have hoped coming into this final round. But we have seen that this move is possible, and it would be a real crowd pleaser to see Palmer Larson, a very experienced climbing competitor, be able to make it to the top of this climb. All eyes on Palmer Larson right now, as he's the only competitor. Everybody in this room is hoping that he's able to make this move go. All right, going for the double clutch, not even trying the paddle. The paddle gets him over there maybe with a little more control, a little less swing, but whatever's going to work for Palmer to get through this move is what we want to see. Palmer really sticking to that double clutch move. With 2 minutes and 38 seconds left, he's got plenty of time. But this is the last climb. He wants to hear the crowd cheer him on. If he really wants the crowd to cheer, all he has to do is stick this move. He's looking comfortable on it. We just got to see him do it.
You got this thing, Palmer. I know you got it in you.
Again, if you guys are college or university students and you guys want to compete next season, go over to usaclimbing.org and make sure to click on the collegiate section. There's a whole bunch of information on how you can register as an individual or even start a team at your local university and compete next season. All you have to be is a student at a college or university, registered student.
So close, Palmer. Come on.
This entire crowd is waiting on bated breath. They know the move goes as we've seen Solomon do it, so everybody's just hoping that Palmer can figure this one out.
Come on, let's make some noise for Palmer Larson. Let's make this thing happen. Come on, Palmer. We'll just call that a follow-up, Palmer. Come on, you got this.
1 minute and 7 seconds left. He's still got a handful of tries. Though I'm not sure how many attempts you can have on this before you just start to lose a little bit of strength, a little bit of energy. And it is a big jump and a tough hold to hold on to, as we've seen throughout this entire competition.
Come on, Palmer. We're all with you here. Come on.
Again, as we begin to wrap up, this year is the first year that USA Climbing for this collegiate format is using individual discipline team championships. In the past, there was just an overall winning team. This year, they're going to be taking the top 3 scores from each team, each individual teammate of a team in bouldering, speed, and in sport climbing to figure out who wins overall for each discipline from each school. So stay tuned for that in the awards. We're going to have individual discipline awards as well as overall awards. 3 seconds left. Palmer Larson giving it everything he has. And we are only going to see one climber stick the move on that men's 3. And that is it for our competitors. That is the last competitor out. We're going to take a look at these scores. They are unofficial. Still sitting in first place, we've got Jesse Grouper, second Solomon Barth, Jess Walker rounding out the podium as it stands, and then Eric Jerome and Raymond Hansen there in 4th and 5th. For the ladies, sitting in first, hometown hero Madeline Morris. The spectators here in Houston are going to love to see that. Hannah Tolson in second, Megan Lynch tied for second as well. Bamini Horseman coming in 4th, and Lily Canavan in first. Again, the top 5 competitors have an opportunity from each discipline and each gender. Top 5 competitors have the opportunity to go to Worlds in Slovakia. It happens every other year, and this year is the World Championship in Slovakia. So all of these competitors are really going to be gearing up to try and make it into that top 5 category so that they have the opportunity to represent the U.S. on the world stage. You guys, thank you so much for watching. That's it for the 2018 USA Climbing Collegiate National Championship here in Houston, Texas. It has been a fantastic event overall, and my pleasure commentating for you guys here at home today. Thanks again to Momentum Climbing Centers and USAC for hosting this year's Collegiate Nationals, and to everyone else who helped make this weekend a success. I'm going to be signing off. Please tune into that link for the awards if you want to watch. It's going to be happening just after the appeals window. I'm leaving it to tonight's MC, Chris Hampton, to announce awards. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you guys again soon.
I first started thinking about free soloing El Cap in probably 2008, 2009, and then the first several years it was just this abstract dream, and each time I looked at the wall, I just it would fill me with fear. And then I had a couple of distinct experiences on El Cap where I was like, oh, I could actually imagine being up here ropeless. I had to sort of accept the dream, or sort of embrace the vision of it before I could get into the nitty-gritty.
EP poured the first handhold in 1985. Here we are 30 years later. Chances are if you climbed inside, you've climbed on an EP hold.